she screamed. "Arrest him right now! He's trespassing on HOA land." Her voice cracked the air like a whip as she waved a red clipboard in front of the officers. But here's the truth. This was my land. My fence, my cows behind me, and I wasn't moving an inch. I leaned against the wooden fence, my shotgun resting easily in my hands, not raised, just calm. The cops hesitated, their cars blocking the dusty road, blue lights flashing. They weren't sure what to believe. She wore her bright blue suit like a badge of authority, barking orders as if she owned the valley. "This property falls under HOA restrictions," she snapped, pointing at the grazing cattle. "He cannot keep livestock here." "This is a violation," I smirked. "Lady, my family has farmed this land for over 70 years. You think a clipboard changes that?" Her face turned red, but she doubled down. "Either you remove those animals today or we'll have them seized." The crowd of neighbors who had gathered on the roadside whispered, recording everything on their phones. I saw it in their eyes. They didn't trust her either. But she didn't care. She slammed the fake notice against my fence so hard the wood rattled, and the officers reached for their radios. That's when I knew she wasn't just bluffing. She was trying to take everything. The officers looked uneasy, shifting their weight as she waved papers in their faces. "It's all here," she barked, "signed by the HOA board." "He's in violation of multiple codes. Animals, fences, even that old barn, it's all illegal." She slapped the clipboard for effect, her voice shrill. "But I caught a glimpse of the papers. The signatures were wrong. I'd seen enough contracts in my life to know a forgery when it stared me in the eye." I kept my voice steady. "Officer, you sure you're dealing with real authority here? Because I don't see a county seal, not even a proper header on those forms." One cop glanced at the other, uncertain. She snapped back, "Don't listen to him. He's a manipulator. He'll say anything to keep breaking the law." Neighbors began murmuring louder now, some recording every second. One woman whispered, "She doesn't even live in this neighborhood. Why's she yelling about HOA rules?" Karen stiffened, her eyes darting around like a trapped cat. She wasn't expecting the crowd to question her. That's when she pulled her boldest move yet. "If you won't handle this," she barked at the cops, "I'll call in backup." She pulled out her phone and loudly demanded for enforcement units to arrive. The crowd gasped. Within minutes, 2 black SUVs rolled up the hill. Tinted windows, men in uniform stepping out like some private militia. She smirked at me, whispering, "Let's see how calm you are now, cowboy." And for the first time, I felt the weight of the storm she'd unleashed. The SUVs stopped just feet from my fence, engines rumbling like beasts. 4 men stepped out, wearing dark uniforms without badges. Their boots crunched the gravel as they lined up behind her. Arms folded, faces hidden by sunglasses. The real cops froze, unsure what to do. Karen lifted her chin, smug as ever. "Gentlemen, remove this man from the property. He's in violation, and we have authority to act." My grip on the shotgun tightened, not to fire, but to steady myself. One of the fake officers yanked the gate latch and barked, "Step aside, old man." The crowd erupted, neighbors shouting, filming, some demanding to know who these men really were. But Karen only smiled wider. Then it happened. One of them shoved the fence so hard it cracked. My cows scattered back toward the barn, frightened. Another fake cop reached for the barn padlock as if ready to seize it. The sight tore through me. That barn wasn't just wood. It was my father's sweat, my family's history. And here they were, trespassing like they owned it. I stepped forward. "You cross that line and you'll regret it." My voice carried across the field, steady, controlled. Karen laughed mockingly. "Oh, listen to the cowboy pretending to be a sheriff." Newsflash, you don't make the rules here. The fake officer raised a crowbar and struck the fence post, splintering it into pieces. The neighbors gasped in horror. For the first time, I saw fear flicker in the real cop's eyes. They weren't in control anymore, she was. And in that moment, I realized this wasn't about cows or barns. Karen wanted the land itself. The fake cop's crowbar still echoed in my ears as splinters rained to the ground. Neighbors shouted, some even begged the real officers to stop this madness. But they stood frozen, unsure whose orders mattered. Karen thrived in the chaos. "Do it," she barked. "Clear the animals. Tear down that barn. I'll file the paperwork later." Karen rolled her eyes. "Oh, please. You're just an old man in a dusty jacket. Stop pretending you have authority." I almost laughed. Authority? That word carried weight for me. Because 15 years ago, I wasn't tending cows, I was leading units overseas, training men to survive firefights no HOA queen could even imagine. My neighbors didn't know. Most thought I was just a quiet widower with a piece of land. But my silence wasn't a weakness. It was discipline. I reached into my pocket, pulled out a wallet, and flipped open a weathered ID card. The crowd gasped when they saw the seal. U.S. Army Special Forces, retired. One of the fake cops stiffened, recognition flashing in his eyes. Karen tried to brush it off with a sneer. That doesn't matter here. Military or not, you're still breaking HOA rules. I stepped closer, my voice dropping low, calm but sharp enough to cut through the noise. Lady, you just ordered armed men to trespass on federal land. And guess what? The deed says it belongs to me. For the first time, her smile faltered. Karen's smirk twisted back into place as if my revelation was nothing. She snapped her fingers toward the men in black. Don't listen to his war stories. He's bluffing. Take the barn, seize the cattle, and arrest him if he resists. One of the real cops finally spoke up, voice shaking. Ma'am, we don't have authority for that. Property seizures require a court order. The fake officers moved again, heavier this time. One yanked the padlock clean off the barn and swung the doors wide. Dust swirled into the air as my cows mooed in panic, hooves thundering. Another man dragged a bright orange sticker from his pocket and slapped it across my front gate. The words burned into me, property condemned, HOA action. Karen leaned against the hood of a cruiser, arms folded, her voice dripping with venom. See, you're finished. You can pack up or get dragged out. Either way, this land will be cleared for development. I already have buyers waiting. The rage in my chest burned hot, but I kept my face steady. If there's one thing the Army taught me, it's patience under fire. I stared straight at her and said, You just made the biggest mistake of your life. The crowd hushed. They didn't know what I meant. But I did. Because I had proof, documents, footage, and connections she could never imagine. The orange sticker on my gate glared like a scar. But instead of tearing it down, I pulled my phone from my pocket. Calm, steady, deliberate. Karen's smirk wavered. What do you think you're doing? Calling your farmer buddies? She mocked. I tapped the screen and turned it outward. The crowd leaned in. A live feed appeared, high definition, footage from the cameras mounted across my land. Every second of her trespass, every fake officer crossing the fence, every swing of the crowbar, all recorded and stored in cloud servers she couldn't touch. Gasps rippled through the neighbors. One of the fake cops cursed under his breath. Another shifted nervously. Karen's face tightened, but she tried to push through. That doesn't prove anything. Anyone can fake a video. I smiled thinly. Good thing I don't rely on just one layer. With a swipe, I pulled up scanned deeds, county sealed, notarized, time-stamped. 70 acres legally purchased, taxes paid for decades. See the seal? This land doesn't belong to your so-called HOA, it belongs to me. Karen's eyes darted around, her confidence slipping like sand through her fingers. But then she snapped, louder than before. None of this matters! I'll have him arrested for threatening officers. He brandished a weapon. The real cops froze again, their radios crackling with static. She was filing a false police report. In real time. And with those fake enforcers backing her, the danger turned deadly serious. I clenched my fists, breathing steady. If she wanted a war of lies, she was about to learn the cost of picking the wrong soldier. Karen's voice screeched across the field. He threatened us with a firearm. Arrest him now! The fake officers puffed up their chests, ready to move. But the neighbors weren't silent anymore. Dozens of phones were pointed straight at her, live streams flashing comments that flew faster than bullets. Liar! Someone shouted. Another yelled, We saw everything! He never raised that gun. The real cops, caught between her commands and the roar of the crowd, finally reached for their radios. Static broke into a clear voice. Dispatch confirms there is no HOA registered at this location. One officer's face drained of color. He turned slowly toward Karen. Ma'am, you better explain this. She snapped back, desperation bleeding through her tone. Don't listen to dispatch. These people are criminals. I'm the only one protecting this neighborhood. But before she could spin another lie, one of the black uniformed men stepped back. We didn't sign up for this, he muttered. The others shifted uneasily. Without Karen's grip of fear, their fake authority cracked. That's when I made my move. I raised my phone higher, showing the live stream numbers climbing into the thousands. The whole county's watching now, I said, my voice calm but cutting. Every lie, every trespass, every forged document, it's all online. Real law's coming, and it's not here to protect you. Karen's face went pale, her hand trembling on the clipboard. For the first time, she looked small, cornered by the very crowd she once tried to control. But I wasn't done. Justice was only just beginning. Sirens wailed as real law enforcement rolled in, 2 cruisers and a sheriff's truck. The sheriff stepped out, steady and calm. "Who's in charge here?" Karen rushed forward, waving her clipboard. "Sheriff, thank God! He's armed, trespassing, threatening HOA officers." The sheriff raised a brow. "HOA officers?" He watched the footage on my phone, her shouting, fake cops smashing my fence, the forged notice. His jaw tightened. "Ma'am," he said coldly, "you're under arrest for trespassing, fraud, and impersonating authority." Gasps erupted as cuffs snapped around her wrists. She thrashed, screaming, "You don't understand! I own this land." The sheriff's reply cut through. "No, ma'am. This land belongs to him." Neighbors cheered as the fake cops fled. I stood by the fence, hand on the cracked post, the valley quiet again. I faced the crowd. I didn't fight for this country to be told I can't live on my own land. The cheer that followed wasn't just for me, it was for freedom.